All right, now we are going to go over just some basic Roots Magic things, including just some how to navigate Roots Magic a little bit better, and then also how to add in new people. So right now we have pulled up the pedigree view chart of Roots Magic. Um, so here we have our subject person, his parents. If we click down here on this red arrow, then we can see Charles, his wife, and then their oldest son, and we can keep going down through the generations. So that is the pedigree view. We also can go ahead and go into the family view. So to do this, I'm going to make sure that Charles' name is highlighted in blue in the pedigree view just by clicking on his name. And then from here, I click on family. And this gives me him, his wife, their children, and then his parents. Um, so this is the way that I prefer to work in Roots Magic, to see the family units, but also the pedigree is nice to have and nice to really work off of. Um, all right, so we can add in new people and new relationships. So to add in just a new person, we can go ahead and click this. Up at the top, there's the person with the green plus mark. So we're going to go ahead and click right there and then click on individual. I'm just going to make up a name. So we'll do John Smith. Then we'll put his sex as male. Make sure that if the individual you're inputting is deceased, that you make sure that the check mark for living is turned off. And then we'll just make up a birthday. We'll say, I don't know, 13th of January, 1830 for his birthday. And we'll put New Hampshire since the rest of the family members have been born in New Hampshire. And then for his death, we'll do 15 October 1860, just making this up. So I can go ahead and click OK. And now we have a whole new person created in our database. All right, let's go back to Charles. So there are options to add a new spouse to Charles or a new child. So let's walk through this. First of all, let's point this out. Do you see how there's this pink dress icon with a 2? So that means that he had 2 wives, because if you look down at his wife, Louisa, she only has a 1. So I happen to know that this family, the parents got divorced and he got remarried. But if we go ahead and click on 2 right here, we can switch to Listina, his second wife, and here it shows their family unit. So that's just something to take note of. Let's go back to Charles though, and let's pretend that we found out that Charles had a new spouse that we didn't know about before. So we can go ahead and add that spouse in. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and click on this icon right here that we pulled up, and then click add a new spouse, add new person, and then from here I can type in and enter in all of that information about that spouse. Also, let's pretend that we found out about another child that Charles and Louisa had. So there are different ways that we can go about adding that child. First of all, we could have Charles highlighted in blue and then click this add person button that we clicked on before. We can go ahead and scroll down to child. And here it's going to let me choose if this child was born to him and Louisa or him and Listina. So let's just click on Listina, click add new person, and here we can add in the child's name. So let's say, I don't know, Sarah, and do her name at sex is female, make sure living is turned off, and then you can enter in a birth and death date from there. This is just a person I made up for demonstration. But now we have her in the database. All right, let's pretend that Charles and Louisa had a third child. So we can go ahead and do it in the same way that we just did it, or we can just click right here on the children, click add a new child, and then click add a new person, and you can enter in that child from there. So that is another way we can go about doing that and go about creating those relationships in our database. All right. Also, we can unlink parents from their children, children from their parents, and also spouses from each other. So let's say that I found out that Charles and Listina actually weren't married. I can go ahead and click unlink and then scroll down to from spouse. And then I have to make sure that I have the correct spouse highlighted in the family view to unlink that. So I would have to go back to Listina if that's who I wanted to unlink. But if it was just Charles and Louisa, I can go ahead and click unlink from spouse, and that will get rid of their marriage relationship within the database. All right, so hopefully this little video is helpful for you and gave you more confidence just in navigating Roots Magic and creating new people and relationships.